Hi, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Carolina Rides, a look at the car community and car culture across the Western Carolinas. Today, we actually have not one, but two guests, but we're talking about one event. It's called Reins International. It's going to be held in Tryon, and I've got the two people who are going to give us all the information as to what you need to know. Caleb Hightower, you may recognize him. We've had him on before from AutoWorks SC. And John Budinich, you may recognize him. We've had him on before from Cars and Coffee of the Upstate. Both of you, thanks for joining me today.
Great to be here, Dan. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, I don't know who wants to talk first or how you want to do this. First, in just kind of a nutshell, the brief elevator pitch. What is Rides and Reins exactly? If somebody is going to go to this event, what can they expect?
Kick us off, Caleb.
So this event is something that we're trying to do. Anytime we do an event, we try to do something that's just different. That's not the same thing that everybody does or goes to. So Tryon Equestrian Center up there in Tryon, North Carolina is a place that seems like it would be something that would be fun and different. They have a bunch of restaurants and everything. So what we're doing is we're going to take some of the events that we've done at other places, exotics, off-road vehicles, and pretty much anybody that's got something modified, customized. Your Cars and Coffee crowd, the people that come to my night meet or Cartoberfest, is something that we're offering just a little bit different for people to come have a good time.
Now, what was kind of the genesis of this entire idea?
I think the way it started is we've been doing now for a couple of years an event at Lake Bowen at the Bowen Landing restaurant, where we've combined a display of off-road vehicles and exotics on the lawn next to the restaurant. And then the parking lot was set up similar to like a Cars and Coffee, where anybody can bring their builds out there and show them off. What we wanted to do was something in the spring, and when Caleb had the connection with Tryon, they're going to have a number of horse events. They have 800 horses registered for the week, and we figured we could do the similar thing where we put the exotics in the courtyard, and we'll have an off-road corral, a Porsche corral, and then we've got about 300 spots for people to bring their own cars out and show them off and not just look at cars, but look at the horses as well. And as Caleb said, plenty of restaurants to dine in as well.
Now, the process of getting this organized, I mean, you've already had, I guess, the connection with the folks up at Tryon International. How has that been going? What are some of the things that have they been kind of going, what is this? A bunch of cars coming?
Yeah, we had to explain it and break it down to them. We've been working on it for 2 years. So we tried to do it last year, and the dates just didn't line up and everything. So it's been something we've been trying to build. It's not just an easy, hey, like, we're going to come park and, have some fun. It had to be very much organized. And the way that I got in touch with the Equestrian Center was through the Foothills Humane Society. So what we're doing when we do this event, any donations or any money that we raise during the event will be donated to them.
Okay, that's pretty cool right there. Okay, let's start then with how the cars are going to be. What are you looking for? Are they going to be separated in terms of, I guess, nationalities, for lack of a better word? And if somebody wants to show, do they have to register or anything like that? Kind of give me the setup as to how this is going to go.
Okay, the setup is we've been what they call curated the exotics and the Porsche Corral and the off-roads. What we've done is we've invited people that have come to previous events. We'll display their vehicles. The exotics, we're going to put some of them sprinkled out throughout the venue as well. For example, maybe a Ferrari and a Lamborghini in front of the Italian restaurant and so on. But for that 300 spot lot, anybody can bring their cars. It's free to come in. We would request, if you feel like it, make a donation to the Humane Society. But that space is on a first come, first served basis.
And we have 300 spots reserved, but they have more than enough parking. I mean, that place could hold 1,000 cars, but we have 300 dedicated to us. So the main thing is that we just want anybody that wants to come and experience a different kind of Cars and Coffee to show up and have a good time.
Okay. I've got the map right here to show, kind of give people an idea as to where the setup is going to be. And if somebody wants to kind of go ahead and explain this and what the PCA Corral is.
Yes, what we've done is we've reached out to the Carolinas region of the Porsche Club of America, and they're going to bring 25 different Porsches from 356s all the way through the modern Taycans and 911s and so on. The off-road display, Caleb has reached out to a lot of his contacts for Jeeps, raised pickups, so on and so forth, 4x4s. And then that center courtyard where you see the exotics listed, That's where we're going to spread out the 30 to 35 exotic cars, supercars, and so on. So they'll have room between them. People can walk around, view the cars from all angles. Photographers like that as well. And then on the top of the screen, which is closest to the highway, you'll see general spectator parking on the left. That's overflow as well for us. And then the event parking on the right, that's the dedicated 300 or so spots they've given us for anybody who wants to bring their own ride, show them off, and just take a look at everybody else's rides. You'll see around the left side of the screen and the bottom of the screen, all of those brown spots there, those are the different horse venues. And they'll have show jumping going on, dressage. They're going to do horse shows where they're, rating the horses and so on. So after you look at the cars or before you look at the cars, go check out the horses, and all of the restaurants are in the middle.
Now, is that something, especially with the horse events going on, what are we looking at in terms of, first off, is there a cost to get in? And secondly, is there a cost to attend the specific things that are going on at the Equestrian Center?
Just if you want to go to the restaurant, eat food, they have 6 restaurants is what we figured out. They have an Italian restaurant, like an old school diner, a sushi restaurant, a steakhouse, a cafe, and then they have a saloon. And then inside that saloon, they have an arcade that has pool tables, bowling alley, race simulators, dartboards. I mean, there's more than enough for people to come and walk around, see cars, and then take a break and do something else, sit down and watch the horse event. You can walk down and sit down and watch the main arena. There's a lot to do at this place.
Now, I was also told by, I think it was you, Caleb, concerning the fact that there are going to be cars kind of outside some of these restaurants that kind of go with whatever that restaurant's specialty is, like Italian to Italian.
Yeah. We got a couple of Italian, like supercars that we'll put in front of the Italian restaurant, a couple of, rare Japanese cars that go in front of the sushi restaurant, same deal with some old hot rods in front of the diner, the American steakhouse. We're going to have something kind of themed that way and something themed along with the saloon as well. So it'll kind of flow together and make for some really good displays and something yet again just a little different.
Now, this is the first time you obviously have done this sort of event, at least here. Of course, you've done the event at Bowen's Landing previously. Based on how that has gone, and it's been successful, and now you've got a space with a little bit more breathing room. What are you looking for? What do you estimate in terms of how many vehicles are going to show up? How many people?
It's I don't know. That's a hard one to say. I mean,
it's hard to estimate. It's weather dependent. It's travel dependent. This is a little bit out there compared to some of the other venues we've done. And, it could be, we're hoping 500 vehicles show up and, fill that lot. And then you'll have an early crowd and a later crowd. There's also Tryon itself. After our event technically finishes, they have an event called Saturday Night Lights, where they're going to have bands. They're going to have, arcades for kids, a bounce house, and so on. So people can even stay for that too. And again, as Caleb mentioned, really the only cost would be if they get hungry, they eat in a restaurant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you got to think you're going to something similar to the night meet that I put on, and something similar to the Cars and Coffee that John puts on, along with the Bowen's Landing event. So you have these exotic cars here. You have it where anybody can pull up and park in any kind of build that they have, and then you have all these restaurants you can go in and go eat at, whichever one you choose. And the big kicker, in my opinion, is free.
Right.
It's, like I said, if you want to donate money to the Foothills Humane Society, that's a great cause, but it's free. Where else can you go do that and see that?
Now, oftentimes we see these car shows. We'll see usually, the American cars. You got the Japanese cars. You see a lot of the off-roading or the 4x4s, that sort of thing. But there are some events that you see exotics, but you don't see many exotics on the road around here. You may see one occasionally, like tootling down downtown Greenville or something like that. What is the exotic scene like in the Upstate and in Western North Carolina overall?
It has exploded over the past 4 or 5 years, I would say. Back in October 24 at my Cars and Coffee events at Michelin, I did a feature of exotics. We had 110 exotics in the first 3 rows at Michelin's parking lot. You will see there was an event that just took place this past weekend. We had a Porsche 918 Spider, there was a Ferrari Testarossa, Lamborghini Revuelto, more and more influx of cars coming in. And part of it is because now some of them are becoming more affordable because like Lamborghini Huracans and so on. That's something where if you're comparing it to maybe like an F-250 pickup truck, they're about the same cost nowadays. But I will say at Cars and Coffee, whether it's my event, the one at Bridgeway Station, you will see easily 100 exotics and supercars show up every month.
Now, some of that probably also would have to do, I would think, with the fact that we're getting not only an influx of population, this is a very rapidly growing area, but also you're getting people now from all across the country who are moving to the upstate of South Carolina or western North Carolina. And you're probably also getting, therefore, a little bit of cross-pollination with some of the things that you're seeing from some of the car scenes in other parts of the country.
Surely. In fact, I'll say guilty as charged. I'm from New Jersey. Caleb may say, why did I come down here and stay? But and you're correct. It is exploding. You can tell just by the traffic on the highways nowadays. More and more housing developments going up. I live in Anderson, half a mile from me. 4 corners, they're building 3 new housing developments. But you're right, that's bringing in an influx of different styles as well. Caleb can speak to a lot of the Asian style cars and everything else. That's been coming in for years. Now you're starting to see exotics and the supercars. And then more and more, what actually surprises me, I'm seeing more and more old American muscle cars coming back out of the garages.
Yeah. You start to see that turnover where somebody had them when they passed away or something, and that car's been purchased by somebody younger that usually would not be able to afford it. So it kind of makes it where, the like your JDM cars and your European cars and everything, and even your modern muscle cars, it's just, that's why we like to do it this way, is because it's a mix. And the exotics are one of those things that, you might not be a Ferrari fan, or you might not like a Lamborghini or whatever, but if you see a Ford GT or like a McLaren or something, everybody from each facet has that one supercar, hypercar that they kind of thought was cool growing up. So when you have that stuff there, the exotic guys have those cars because they want to show them to people, and then everybody else kind of comes to look at them. And then it is kind of funny how everybody will talk to everybody too, because they might show them a Jeep or old Honda that they had, and the person with that supercar, exotic car, that might have been what they started out in. That might have been like one of the first ones they built to get to where they're at. So it is kind of cool to see everybody hang out and discuss and get along.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. What in the times that you've had your events, and I guess maybe kind of focusing then towards what we might see in Tryon, what are some of the kind of the outlying cars that you've seen across the area? Some of those, wow, I can't believe I saw that here.
Well, as I said, we've seen Porsche 918 Spider. The Revuelto is the brand new Lamborghini, top of the line model. You've seen a lot of old things coming out too. Di Tommaso Panteras, old Ferraris, that typically, you usually just see them in a museum, but people are starting to drive them again. And the thing that I know I like, and I think Caleb would concur with this, is by mixing the exotics and supercars, the Porsche cars, the off-road cars, and then the general population cars, everybody gets to see what everybody else is doing, and it helps grow the entire hobby. Yeah. Just for the fact that you're not exclusive. We're not saying only this type of car can be at this parking area or at this event. We like to mix them up, and we like the fact of that crossbreeding of, interest.
All right, we are going to take a short break. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about Rides and Reins, and we're also going to talk, just a little bit more about the car scene in general and some of the things that have been happening and what's coming up. Stay tuned. We will be right back. Welcome back to Carolina Rides. We've been talking about Rides and Reins International. That's coming up at the Tryon Equestrian Center. We bring back both Caleb Hightower and John Budinich from AutoWorks SC and Cars and Coffee, the Upstate, respectively. Let's talk a little bit more about Rides and Reins International and some of the other do's and don'ts and some of what's going on out there as we get to. And if you could remind us of what that date's going to be, too.
So the date is May 16th. It'll be 12 to 4 is when the event will happen. Like I said, we've got the parking lot set up for the exotics and our off-road crowd, Porsche crowd, and then our 300 spots for spectators, or for the your Cars and Coffee type builds. Anybody that's got a build that wants to show up. And then we have a spectator section too, but that spectator section also is first come, first serve. So we know for a fact that we have the event parking reserved, but then the other part will be open too. So that facility can hold, a good many cars. It could easily hold probably around about 1,000 cars. So we don't want anybody to be dissuaded from coming because there'll be plenty of parking for everybody. The one main thing that we want everybody to understand is that when we have this event, that we can't have anybody revving or two-stepping or anything crazy like that. Your normal driving's fine, but with the horse events going on, you can't have anything like that because of you don't want to spook the horses. There'll be people out there in events, and if you spook a horse and it throws somebody, that could be a big problem. But that's the main thing. The car corral, the car community that we deal with usually doesn't do that anyway. So, but that's just something to put out there.
Mm-hmm. Now, we also, John, you were mentioning off camera a little bit ago concerning the fact that this it takes a team to put on these events, and you've got some people we need to shout out.
Surely. In addition to AutoWorks and, of course, Cars and Coffee, the Upstate, Tryon International is being a very gracious host and giving us this space to use, again, with the only caveat, please don't spook the horses. In fact, there's a promenade that runs between the courtyard and the two corrals of cars where the horses will actually be walking throughout the event. The other thing is we were able to, have a charity of choice there, the Foothills Humane Society. If people, feel to, donate to that, that would be very helpful as well. Again, it's animal themed and we got the horses. And then Michelin Tire, who is my host site for Cars and Coffee Upstate, they've come on as a sponsor to help us out to put this event on as well. They're going to have a display in the Welcome Center. They just recently launched a new line of tires, the LTX Premier, and it's geared towards vehicles similar to the Ford F-250, which is primarily the tow vehicles that all these horse owners are using. They'll also have some displays up there of some high-performance tires, too, to key in with the event that we're putting on with the cars. So I really want to give a good shout-out to Michelin. They've been very helpful for me over the 13 and a half years I've been on their site for Cars and Coffee, and they're helping us, Caleb and I, put this event on as well.
Sounds like fun. Of course, this is just one of many things that both of you guys are involved in, have been involved in, and will be involved in going forward. Caleb, let's start with you. I mean, you recently came out of what was a successful night meet in Boiling Springs. Tell us a little bit about that night meet scene and some of the other events that you've got coming up.
The night meet is something that we've been doing for about 5-6 years now. And we had one at the beginning of the year, and the winter one's the one that we usually do all the time at my shop. Really good turnout. We had probably about 400 something cars show up and probably about 1,000 people. So it was a really good time. A lot of people probably don't like it because there's so much traffic on Highway 9 that day when we do that. And then I changed it up a little bit, and I'm trying to do yet again different locations. So I had one recently at my buddy's restaurant, La Cantina. We had a night meet there, and it actually turned out really good. A lot of people showed up. Anything you can do near a restaurant like there and Denny's, I mean, they were really busy that night. So those are the two that are behind us. We got Rides and Reins, and then the other two events I'll do this year, we'll do Lakeside at Bowen's Landing again. That'll be August 29th, right, John?
Right.
And then we'll have Cartoberfest in Emmons. This will be the 6th year that we've done Cartoberfest, and that'll be October 17th.
Now, you mentioned previously concerning Rides and Reins, one of the reasons for this was because things were just getting nuts at the Bowen's Landing event. Yeah. But you're still having the Bowen's Landing event. Are you doing anything different, or is it going to be like it was, and it's just going to kind of rearrange parking maybe a little bit?
Everybody likes that event so much. We've gradually each time opened the restaurant more just to see how that would go and if it would fill up, if people want to stay. So, this time the restaurant will be open completely, full service, everything. We're doing it on a Saturday versus a Sunday to work with the lady at the fish camp that lets us graciously use her parking lot. That works out better for her and us, and that's why we're doing it a little bit sooner before Labor Day, so that way college football, none of that's going on. People can come and have kind of like one big car show before they dive into the college football season.
All right, sounds good. John, how about you? What's Cars and Coffee up to? What have you got coming up?
Okay, well, Cars and Coffee, as I said, now this is my 15th year doing this, 13 and a half at Michelin. I'm doing the fourth Saturday going forward in June, August, and October, and we're going to set up special features. The June event, for example, I'm working with GTM & Son. We're going to have 8 different flavors of the Di Tommaso Pantera, pretty much every model they've ever made. And we'll have a setup, a display with that. In the August event, Michelin is going to put on a display of their high-performance tires. And then in the October, we're bringing in 9 different race cars, GT2 race cars. We have an awesome Toyota Tundra race truck. We're going to have a couple of Porsche race cars and so on, just to give people something a little bit different and a little bit focused to look at. But in addition to that, if the weather's nice, we'll still have our 1,200 cars show up, and you'll see anything and everything, builds from people just starting to completed builds, and of course the bought versions of the exotics and so on. So looking forward to it.
Now, we talked a little bit about this the last time you were here, but I want you to remind everybody again. With the Cars and Coffee event at Bridgeway Station is one of those things that's sort of under your umbrella. It's just you're kind of farming it out a little bit to give yourself a little less to do.
Yeah, I'm kind of mentoring Michelangelo Vivar. He's been on your podcast as well. He runs the events at Bridgeway Station. I run the ones at Michelin. And when he approached me a couple of years ago to start an event, I was looking for a break anyway because I had done 12 months a year for, at that time, 13 years straight. And, I wanted a little bit of time off. So he's doing the Bridgeway events, and he's asked me to guide him on what to do, what not to do. There are some differences, though, because I'm on private property, so I don't have vendors and such on site. Michelin and I agreed upon that to keep it more, I guess you call pure enthusiast an event. He's at Bridgeway Station. They're trying to promote all of the restaurants, the coffee shops, and all the other amenities they have there. In fact, they're halfway done building the soccer stadium. So he does have sponsors and vendors out there to give it a different type of a flavor. I've got really one big lot and one medium lot, so a total of over 1,000 spots. I think he's got about 800 spots when you add all 4 lots together, but it is a little bit spread out differently. But it's also, you've got the background of the Bridgeway Station buildings, which makes them for really some good photo ops too. I mean, it looks like old castles and so on. So some of these modern cars against that background, it looks good. But Michelangelo does his thing, I do mine, and I'm just trying to, I guess, advise as needed.
All right, I'm going to open this up to both of you kind of going forward without giving away any state secrets or anything like that. Is there anything either of the two of you want to do, either independently or with each other, going forward, something different maybe that we haven't seen, or maybe taking advantage of something that we're seeing more of in the local car community?
Well, I'll go first if Caleb.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I want to do, actually, I started Cars and Coffee the Upstate, 17 vehicles showed up for the first 3 events. And I'd like to do some, again, smaller events to where maybe in a different type of a venue, like maybe say up at, the Cliffs of Kiowee or something like that, around their main clubhouse, and have an event where we have maybe 12, 15 cars, and, it looks more like a Concours type deal, but without any of the judging, just because of the fact that, while I appreciate everybody who comes out to Cars and Coffee, I love doing these events. I love seeing 1,200 cars and meeting so many different people. Just as a different, for me, do some small events where it's, a little bit more curated. And, that's partly what I'm doing with Caleb, in the fact that we have these curated displays at Lake Bowen and now at Tryon as well.
Yeah, with something like the Cliffs, you could probably just have residents from the Cliffs to their cars, and you've got 12 to 15. So
exactly.
That makes that easy. It becomes like a neighborhood car show.
But I want to be able to bring the public in to view them.
Yeah.
And, to get that experience, something different than being in a parking lot.
Yeah. Caleb, what about you?
It's a hard one. I kind of don't really try to focus on one to, like, oh, this is a good idea, let's pursue this. I kind of just let it go, and then these opportunities seem to just kind of present themselves. I've found that, like, if you try to force it too much, it ends up not being what it needs to be. So I kind of, just wait till that moment hits, and it's like, ooh, this would be different. This would be cool. Yeah,
from what you've seen at your shows or even at your shop, have you seen any trends going forward that might lead you to think about doing something?
No, because usually I'll look at that and I try to do the opposite of it. So if there's a trend going something where, yet again, the ones that have been held at airports, we've had 4 of those this year.
Right.
So, I try not to do the same thing that everybody else does. So great events, they turned out good and everything, but it's like I try to move away from that and find something that's unique to just change it up a little bit, because any events that's going on, I don't want to run anything into the ground, and I want people to be able to come to different events and experience something different and keep the car events going and keep them fun and enjoyable, family friendly. That's the kind of stuff that, I really try to focus on.
All right, once again, Rides and Reins International. That is Saturday, May 16th, the Tryon Equestrian Center. Kickoff time at noon, and it'll run till mid-afternoon at some point, right?
Yeah, 4 o'clock. And that's just the only time that we really, honestly, have to have the exotic exhibit. Those guys will be moved out because they're going to have a pavilion set up there. But as far as anybody being able to, having to leave, no, you can stay there as long as you want. They actually want people to stay for the Saturday Night Lights, because they'll have a whole nother, basically one event bleeds into another one. So you can come spend a whole day there.
And Dan, I would just like to add one quick comment too. I really appreciate teaming up with Caleb, because I think we're bringing 2 different perspectives to this, and that's what helps us blend into these unique events like Tryon, like Lakeside, and so on.
Yeah.
I don't think either one of us would have thought to do that on our own, mixing the types of things we're doing. So I think it helps pushing each other.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
Great. Caleb, John, thanks for joining me here on Carolina Rides.
Wish
you the best with this event, and weather permitting, I'm planning on seeing this myself. So
we hope to see you there.
Hope to see you too there as well. Thanks for joining me. I want to remind everybody, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, and on YouTube. You may be watching us on YouTube right now. We're on WSPA Plus, but we've got all our old episodes, including with these gentlemen right there at Carolina Rides WSPA. Have a great one, everybody. We'll see you back here next time on Carolina Rides. Until then, drive safely.